Hello, my name is Dark Doll, and today I want to do a show called Dream Talk. Dream Talk is a show where I share with you the dreams that I have. I explain to you how I decipher them, and I also explain to you guys that I'm not a dream interpreter. Some people seem to think that I am. I do get impressions within the dreams that you present to me or ask me what they mean, but I think only you, the dreamer, truly knows what your dream means. Oops, sorry. Knocking shit over. So let's take my hair down a little bit. But today, I wanted to share with you a specific dream. I also, too, I want to say, emphasize, if you can, write your dreams down in a dream journal. Even if you don't write them down right after you have them, if you remember them, recall them during the day, try to remember to write them down in your journal. Because if you don't, then you'll probably end up forgetting or only having little bits and pieces of that dream, fragments of that dream in your mind. Because dreams come to us for a reason. The dream world is trying to help us here in the waking world. You know, that's the main purpose, I feel, of the dream world. And the dream world can be a way of you expressing things you can't express in the waking world. So the dream that I had last night, and it's a very short one too, and sometimes the really short ones can be very profound. I had a dream that, and I can't even remember what the person looked like, but someone was talking to me and asked me specifically this one important question. And they said, why don't you write poetry anymore? And I was like, well, I used to write poetry all the time, and then I became a part of a band and I turned my poetry into songs. And that was the end of the dream. And it didn't sound like it was my voice, it sounded like someone else's voice. I just felt like there was some wisdom exuding off of this being that was asking me this question. And that's the odd thing about it, is I don't even remember what this person looked like. I could go back into the dream world with the intention of finding out who this person was that was talking to me within the dream. That has been done before. I've done something like that before, but not with this specific type of dream. I've laid down in bed and asked if I could complete a certain dream that I had, and I was able to do so. Sometimes it doesn't happen in one night. Sometimes you have to continuously ask for what you want in the dream world for it to show up, because there's parts of our mind that's really resistant to this type of what would be seen as esoteric type of subject matter. We're taught, we're brainwashed within school, by our peers, by our friends and family, that dreams are nothing but your body's need to rest. You lay down and you may have some dreams, but mainly you're laying down to rest and that's it. But that's not it for me. And probably not for you if you keep coming back to watch these type of videos that I make on this channel for Dream Talk. I felt like it was a wise person that was trying to remind me of the fact that I do like, and I've always enjoyed writing poetry. I was doing writing poetry. I started writing poetry when I was 12, and I didn't show anybody. I just wrote it for my own self-expression, because there's things that I wanted to get out. But I didn't want to put it in a journal form where it was verbatim everything that's going on. I wanted to put it in an artistic way to express myself, because I really didn't want anybody to find my journal and read the actual true events of my life. I wanted to put it in more of I guess poetry for me was kind of like a more of a coded way of expressing my feelings without putting exacts and literal content from my life into the poetry. The poetry is more symbolic to me. A lot of symbols being used of what I created, and a lot of my songs are like that. They're poetry. I'm trying to see if I can find any of my songs around. I don't have my songbook or anything like that around here, but I could share something like that with you guys in the future if you so request it. But yeah, I feel like when those kind of dreams come your way, you really need to take heed to it and listen. I've been wanting to write more poetry. I have been writing just in general in a journal and a dream journal, and a little biography that I've been writing about myself. So, excuse me. But my first love was poetry, because I could express myself within words and symbols without really truly like saying every single thing that's going on. And after I would write them, I would feel totally stress free and full, and the anxiety that I felt before writing these poems was totally gone. So it's another form of therapy. And I believe that that voice, that wise voice, was coming to me, trying to tell me, to remind me of what I'm really passionate about. Some people would say maybe that's just a part of my higher self. It could be, or if it's part of my ancestry, my ancestors that are within me. I believe that is a possibility. I had dreams like this before, but never, not quite like this. But I've had dreams like this before, where someone I'm not familiar with comes up and starts asking me questions. There was one dream that I had before that's reminding me of this dream, present dream, where let me have a sip of my water. If you see me doing like this, I got cloves, whole cloves in my mouth because it's good for sensitive teeth. So, doesn't stop me from spilling water on my face. It's a hot day, so it's perfect. But anyway, yeah, the dream that I had, the other one that I had was someone was asking me, what was it they were asking me? What was it they were asking me? Oh, that's what it was. They were asking me about, so you're a raw foodist. This was a long time ago when I was completely raw foodist. I was 100% raw. I didn't eat anything cooked, baked, broiled, sauteed, or anything. I ate all raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And then I transitioned into eating only just fruit. And that was a tremendous time for me. I loved it. I felt very, very powerful. I stopped eating that way because of peer pressure and going to parties and going to barbecues and going to all this stuff where people kept, hey, you need to eat this, you need to eat this, you need your protein, all this bullshit. So I succumbed to peer pressure, and I succumbed to polite society, as Terence McKenna would say. I succumbed to it, and I just started eating what everybody else was eating, so I wasn't feeling left out or feeling like they saw me as a threat, or that I was thinking that I was superior because I didn't eat all the things that they ate. Now at this time in my life, I don't feel like that. I'm thinking more about health. So I've been eating a lot more raw foods, and it's especially easy to do because it's the summertime and it's hot, and I really don't want to eat a bunch of cooked food anyway. So salads would be my best friend. So that voice came to me and asked me, so you're a raw foodist, what does that mean? And then I started explaining to them what it meant. And they're just like, oh. And that was interesting that came up. And then I had some wise voice come to me and say, so you're vegan. And what does that mean? And then I said, well, actually I'm not vegan, I still eat fish, but I've cut out cheese and dairy and stuff like that. I was getting really specific and telling that voice of whoever that was speaking to me what my diet entailed. And it does feel like either a spirit guide, maybe a higher self, ancestors all in one, coming to me and helping me in dream time, and trying to help me stay on the path that I need to be on. So I do feel very sensitively affected by people that are around me, and decision making becomes a little bit more challenging when you're around people that are making decisions that may not be healthy for you. So you have to find out what works for you. So I've had those kind of wise presences occur in my dream time, and if that happens to you, just realize it. It's probably that part of yourself or your ancestors or a combination of all trying to help you out on this waking world, because it's a challenging world. It's a challenging world even to this day. If you tell somebody you're a vegetarian, they don't know how to react or respond to that, because our society is still geared towards eating lots of meat and talking about where's your protein all the time. You don't need a huge amount of protein in your diet in order to survive. I mean, people are eating too much protein. There's a protein overconsumption. There's a problem with that. And that's not good. It taxes your heart, taxes your liver, taxes all your internal organs, and you can't function properly. too much protein, it backs you up, and you can't eliminate without getting gross, but this is just a fact of life. If you eat too much protein, it backs you up, and you can't release. You're supposed to be cleansing out and not eating stuff that's all dense all the time. We're not, I mean, are you living in Alaska though? I mean, in a really extremely cold climate? There are people that are raw foodists that live in Alaska, but it's a hard thing to do, I've heard, in order to stay warm and all this great stuff. But there's people that have found a way around that. There's a raw foodist that's in Alaska right now that I follow. I haven't watched her videos lately, but I followed her for a while. Named Crystal Hutchins, and she lives in Alaska, and I think she was born in Alaska too, and she's been eating a raw foods diet for quite a while. At least the last time I watched her videos, she was still raw, and she found it challenging, but she found a way of eating certain foods that would keep her warm, keep her heated up. So there's a way around it. But yeah, that was the dream I had. It was just a wise voice coming to me and asking me, why don't you write poetry anymore, or something like that, to that effect. Why don't you write poetry anymore? Or, that type of thing. And it's like, okay, this is a sign I need to just start doing that again, because it was a very therapeutic process for me to just sit alone, some paper and a pen, and just write something poetic, just what's in my mind, just to express myself. And it's a very therapeutic thing for anybody to do if they are at a loss for like speaking verbally to people. Sometimes it's easier to write things down to express how you're feeling. And you can write these poems and never show them to anyone, ever. And that's the beauty of that creative therapy, where you don't have to share what you create. It's just all about getting those emotions out in a creative way, and share it or not. It's up to you. So yeah, I may be sharing some of my poetry on upcoming videos. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys specifically are interested in hearing that, you can leave it in the comment section below. Other than that, thank you for joining me today for today's show of Dream Talk. I don't know how I'm going to title this video. Wise Dream Talk, wise ones showing up in your dreams, because that's what it felt like, a wise one. I mean, just the presence and the calmness of the voice, the way the voice came to me in that manner. It just felt really relaxing, and it sounded like someone who genuinely cared about the fact that I haven't been writing any poetry. So you always have, guidance around you trying to help you out. And a lot of times that guidance shows up in your dream world. So be aware, and definitely don't take your dreams for granted, because they definitely do mean something. There's some cultures that felt like the dream world was more the real world than this world is, the waking world. So that's something to think about. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for the likes and shares. And thank you for your kind comments. You can leave your comments down below, like I said, and share if you've had a dream or two like this in nature. And yeah, Gisho, tell me did you write the dream down? How did you feel when you had this dream? So yeah, it's all about too. When you have these dreams, there's so many senses that are going on. It's a sense of taste, touch, smell, hearing. So all of that, and the more sensitive you are, the more you're aware of that. And sometimes in the dream world, it's easy for people to see like helpers, spirit helpers. For instance, some people believe they have spirit guides. Sometimes a spirit guide might find it easier to enter into your dream world than to enter into your waking world, because if you have like a spirit guide, which is like a spirit type of energy right there next to you, it might be a little unnerving. So yeah, sometimes it's easier for these spiritual beings to come into your dream world to help assist you, because they know what your comfort level is when it comes to that type of matter. So yeah, thanks for joining me. If you'd like to support this channel, you can donate $1 or more to my PayPal at kdaddytmama@comcast.net, and include a question you'd like to see answered on an upcoming show. It's not, mandatory to donate to this channel in order to watch the videos on this channel. It's just because people asked how they can support my channels. This one, this Dark Moon Doll channel, the Productive Cannabis Connoisseur, and Healing with Color. And that's one way you can do that. The money goes to helping to keep the lights on in here. Rent's more expensive than my last place I lived at. And also saving up for a new camera. And also for land, big grand plan for land where I can grow fruits and vegetables and various herbal medicines that would help a lot of people. And I'd love to be able to create tree homes on there too to help people out. And that's one way I can save up to do it. So it's not a requirement. It's just people ask, and then so I started just making sure I say this in the videos so you know that that's an option. But, alrighty guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you value your dreams and take them seriously, because why would you have these images in your dreams appear before you, or these messages come to you? It's not just by chance. It's definitely a message for you, and you have to listen to it. If you don't listen to it, it'll appear again within your dreams. Alrighty guys, brightest blessings to you all, and I'll see you soon.